Well, I think this is Vinyl Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And I'm proud of myself for getting the intro right the first time. Viewer, this is not different for you.
This isn't the third time we've done it this time.
Definitely not.
Exactly. And this week we are talking about the last album we bought. So
Kinda.
we tried to spring it on. Well, I tried to spring it on the boys to be like, what's the last album we bought? Let's do that. And then two of the three of us, Jamie is a good boy and picked the last one he picked, had to fudge it a little bit. Because I bought like five albums at a time, or like this last purchase. And I tried to decide between one of them, and I chose one that I actually bought the day before the other four. But, you know, what's a day?
Yeah,
what's a day between friends?
And I bought a few records kind of close together, but one of them, technically the last one I bought, I really want for its own episode. So I went the one before.
Mm-hmm. Jamie, what's your story about why you're just so good? Did you buy multiple at a time, or did you just buy this one?
I bought multiple at a time, but they shipped at different times. So this one showed up last, despite me ordering it first. Interesting, right? Mm-hmm. So,
A question for you guys. How often do you buy records?
oh boy.
Kind of goes in stages. Sometimes, I'll buy quite a few. I'll go on a bit of a spree and be like, oh, I want this album.
Yeah, like if you and I walk into the record store together.
I can't stop myself. I'll walk out spending $200, $300.
I'm a bad influence too, because I'll
Let's
be like,
go to the record store.
Plouffe, do you see this one?
Yeah,
We
you'll
talked
show,
about it.
yeah. You will.
Yeah, I don't get invited, so I'm usually
You've
okay.
come with us
you and I have
multiple
got-
times.
No, I'm kidding.
Most of the time, I'll go through dry spells though, so I won't buy anything for like months, and then I'll pick up a bunch of records.
Yeah, like for example, this one I bought in August. But it
Yeah,
was
how
the
often do
last
you buy?
record I
Do you
bought.
buy quite a few, or do you... I feel like you have records coming in quite often.
Dude, okay, so when the last time you and I went to the record store, I bought 15 records at the same time.
That's right, I remember that.
And I basically just went through their new arrivals bin and was like, I like that album.
Wow, you bought 15 new arrivals?
No. So their new arrivals bin at the record store near your old house
Used?
are used. They're just
Okay,
new
okay.
to their store.
That makes a lot more sense.
New to
I'm not
Jamie.
buying new
They're new
newly
to Jamie,
shrink-
but
Yeah.
old to everyone else.
15
Yeah.
brand new records is like almost $1,000.
Yeah, I couldn't afford that. I couldn't eat that week.
$1,000. What kind of records are you buying? That's
I
wild.
mean, $30-$40 a pop. Like, okay, sure, it's like $600. but
I'll
like,
buy 15 $10 records.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so like
That's not bad.
yeah, like I bought David Bowie's David Live, and I made the joke, no, David dead.
Heyo.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I don't do a ton of buying anymore. Like, I'm pretty satisfied with my collection. I've actually started paring it down to be like just the ones I really like.
Yeah.
Because it's a pain to move them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as someone who just moved, it sucks, and I've barely unpacked them now because I hate it. But what I do now is buy more expensive records because
Yeah.
I'm spending less on a bunch of records. One of the ones I bought in this batch was the Wolf 10-year anniversary box set that was like $100 and something odd.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say Wolf, you mean Wolfpack?
Wolf by Tyler Creator.
Oh, excuse me.
So it comes with like it comes with instrumental vinyls, real vinyls, whatever like that. So I find myself just getting higher end versions of the records, or going new instead of used.
Yeah,
and
special ones.
That leads into my pick for last time we bought the Ballads 1 by Joji 5th anniversary version. So crazy enough,
Did
5 years ago.
Did he release it multiple times?
No,
Or,
it
like,
just
just-
came out 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I guess he's released it twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
This one and then one 5 years ago.
Right.
And there is nothing different about the music on it. So
Sure.
when you listened to the album, you've listened to the 5th anniversary one. We'll talk about some of the things that make it different when we get to the album itself, but otherwise, it is wild to think that this came out 5 years ago. Joji has been around for a long time because Joji is George Miller. And of course, when you talk about George Miller, you have to talk about Filthy Frank. You have to. And I'm sure he hates it because it's been a while now, but realistically, that's what kind of jump-started his music career, is that he was a very successful YouTuber.
Yeah.
I had to ask people around my department if they had ever heard of Filthy Frank, and everyone was surprised that I'd never heard of him.
Really?
You didn't know about Filthy Frank?
No idea.
What? He started the Harlem Shake.
I have
Yeah,
no
he
idea.
did.
I know what the Harlem Shake is.
It makes sense he wouldn't know he did, because his video was just like him and his friends
Yeah, and pink suit.
dancing.
And pink guy
They were
suit,
already
yeah.
dressed funny. There was no like cut with the
Yeah.
drop. It was just like the first one. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. He was Well, about George, he's Japanese. He was born in Higashinada, Kobe, Japan, but spent a lot of time in the States, lived in Australia, and became a very popular YouTuber. And if you don't know who he is, I'm actually kind of proud of you because he's very edgy,
Yeah.
very raunchy. To get the Filthy Frank side of things out of the way, his main channel currently has about 8 million subscribers, and he has secondary channels with 1 million subscribers as well. But it hasn't been updated in 6 years, which is because he retired Filthy Frank.
Yep.
It was really bad for his mental health. It was really bad for his physical health. He was having seizures. It was really rough on his throat because he does this gravelly.
Yeah, he does. I can't even do it. He does a filthy. I can't do the voice
You
at
just
all.
want to
He
tell
sounds
him,
like Grover.
No. It just like does not sound like he normally does at all.
Yeah, and his videos are quite edgy. They include raps about being attracted to the actresses on Nickelodeon shows, instructional videos on how to be a gentleman, which is a whole thing, and his alter ego Pink Eye, which is pretty much just him in a pink morph suit, screaming, saying slurs, and acting weird in public. And like I said, he invented the Harlem Shake in 2013.
Do
which
the
is
Harlem Shake.
crazy.
Yeah.
The video is not good. Like I said, I went back and watched it, and I was like, "This
It's
is
terrible.
not a good Harlem Shake."
Yeah, no, but he was the first one.
Yeah, and though Filthy Frank pushed the envelope in the 2010s with this edgy, fun, crazy kind of jackass style humor, he probably retired it at the perfect time because the humor does not hold up anymore.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's one of the first YouTuber turned musicians versus it's pretty darn common now.
No, what's
I
his
don't know.
nuts? The comedian, Bo Burnham.
He was a musician the whole time though.
Yeah.
Versus Filthy Frank did not make music.
Oh,
Like he
fair
made
enough.
some, but he started off with like a different
It was
core content.
meme rap and stuff. Like Pink Season was his first real album to
Wasn't
come
Tyler
out.
the Creator? He was always a musician, and he was always on YouTube.
They were
right?
doing YouTube videos.
Yeah,
but
so there's
it
different
wasn't,
because like Justin Bieber was discovered on YouTube, but they
Yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
like creators of comedy or creators of something completely different
Totally
that
switched
slowly
tracks.
transitioned into
Right.
music.
Yeah.
Versus that's common now. We have people like Corpse
Yeah.
Husband. We have like Matt Watson. Even PewDiePie has music
Oh,
out
God, don't
where they
remind me.
have albums out. So I think it's
terrible.
really cool that they were able to, or he was able to kind of start this trend to show like you can be successful because this album was quite successful. His first album, and it came out. It went platinum certified.
Yeah.
Decently reviewed,
There's
things like that.
hundreds of
So,
millions of views on or listens on Spotify.
yeah, and I listened to it at its release in 2018. I was a fan of Filthy Frank, and I wanted to see if a comedy YouTuber would make music worth listening to, and I was pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't say this is an amazing album, but for his first release under this moniker, because he did release 2 comedy rap albums under Pink Eye, it did sell well and has features. Like it has Trippie Redd, who's a pretty well-known rapper. It's got some well-known producers and Clams Casino, RL Grime, and even Thundercat. Like it's crazy for
Yeah.
your first album.
Yeah. I went back and listened to a bit of Pink Season after I finished this. And I still laughed. It was terrible. but
Yeah,
I still
some of
laughed.
it's funny.
Some of it's pretty funny. A lot of
Some
it's
of it is ooh,
terrible. Yeah.
yeah, very very
like
rough.
Hot Nickel Ball is not not a good song.
No.
I did not like this album. It's kind of a lot of stuff I don't like from that era, which is like indie guy voice, mumbling a bunch, lo-fi, but like
It's very
overproduced
sad boy
lo-fi. Yeah, very
lo-fi.
sad boy lo-fi. And the funny thing is, I kind of like a lot of random sad boy lo-fi stuff. Like Crywank is pretty good. There's another artist I really like that I can't remember the name of right now.
Wow.
But I do like sad songs like this. But the problem is like part of it is hard to get that from him when he's so successful already. And I get that he probably, like, as Filthy Frank, he probably, like, wore a mask and, was all, like, internalizing a bunch of stuff. And then this was his breakthrough moment to come out and be like, this is the real me and all that other stuff. But it just doesn't track with me the same way as an unknown artist doing sad boy stuff does. Seems more authentic. And, yeah, I don't know. It really did not resonate with me. And I was a little sad. Especially after the first couple tracks that Filthy Frank basically died for this. I agree with you 100%. Filthy Frank was retired at the exact right time. Could have gone even a year earlier or so, because yes, it was very edgy gonzo humor. But yeah, I do not like Joji's solo stuff.
Yeah, this would not have been the album I would have chosen by Joji
Sure.
if I did a full episode, which I actually had planned on doing. I would have done his next album, Nectar.
Sure.
It's got higher highs, but it does have lows still.
That's fine.
But this album, I feel like, I mean, we'll talk about songs individually, but I feel like the second half is pretty much just a low. So it's pretty darn rough.
Yeah.
And again, maybe comes from the lack of experience of having to, like, I don't know, maybe he just wanted to make a full album, so he just kind of released enough to do so. But it did feel a little weird and uneven. What do you think, Jamie?
I didn't enjoy this album at all. How do I describe it? I thought the instrumentation on a lot of the tracks was excellent. I thought there was some really good like backing tracks, but the lyrical content and the actual rapping or singing on this album was not particularly
good.
Yeah, but I want to describe it so that it's not like I'm just like saying it's bad, because that's subjective. But it was not to my liking, I guess.
That's also subjective. That's the epitome of being subjective.
Well, I know, but I don't want to be like it's bad and then just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it, but I will say this is the Beths for this season.
Yeah, it'll be divisive. I feel like if you like, because this came out in like kind of peak
this style
bedroom pop.
Yeah,
like SZA was kind of early, and then like people were like, "Oh, this is like an interesting aesthetic," and this sad boy era kind of started, and it's all over the place.
I just feel like some of like whatever interesting lyrics there could be were squandered by the fact that he kind of just
he mumbles a lot, which is incredibly annoying.
I don't have a girl anymore.
Yeah, it's all kind of behind a filter.
Yep.
Which is odd. Even when he's understand, it's still like he's on a phone filter or something like that.
Yeah.
But the other production value is high enough to prove like it's not that it's a lack of equipment.
The deliberate distortion though is a choice that he's done on like, for example, on the first track. Mm-hmm. He just like it just randomly goes.
Oh God! You like the first
we'll talk about that in when we get to the first track. But I actually like it in those circumstances.
I can't stand
because it's more purposeful versus just like this has a filter on the vocals the entire time, and it's all in the background now for some reason.
If it was just a filter, it wouldn't bug me as much. But he just like doesn't enunciate or finish his words a lot of the time, and that just always
what kills me is that like. It must have resonated with someone because
lots of people.
Each of these songs has millions of listens,
hugely
if not
famous.
Hundreds of millions. So
yes, I mean you'll hear my point of view as somebody who likes this album generally.
One of my friends is a giant fan, and I was always like, "Oh yeah, sure, Filthy Frank, whatever." And I never listened to Joji. Now that I've listened to this album, 100% suits that guy. Absolutely.
You can message him now and be like, "Wow, this album is so you." And they're like, "Did you like it?" Like, no.
Yeah,
I did not.
I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that.
I saw Joji live last year, actually.
How was it?
It was all right.
Yeah,
because he has enough hits to make a concert kind of fun.
Yeah,
but he does not have the range to sing his own songs, and that is so annoying. So, like Slow Dancing in the Dark, he has these like really powerful singing moments. He goes low. So it's like in the dark, and I'm like every time he goes low instead of up high.
Oh,
I'm
is
like,
it because
why are you recording songs while you're doing all this powerful stuff if you can't hit it?
I hate when artists make albums that they can't play live. Stadium Arcadium's kind of like this. John Frusciante used so many effects that
it's impossible to play live.
He can't play a bunch of the songs live. That's why they hired Josh Klinghoffer to tour with them.
Yeah, it was a decent show. He's funny. They joked around. Some of it was like, "Okay, stop joking around." They had a trebuchet though. So, I mean, A+ show.
Trebuchet? Dang.
They trebucheted merch into the audience.
That's
I was like,
pretty
this is sick as hell.
They know it's the superior war weapon.
But yeah, that was really annoying, and it's been a kind of a common complaint where I'm like, man, just stop. And like in his new albums, he still does powerful stuff, and then doesn't really hit it in his live shows. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's annoying.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Why don't we just dive right into it?
Sure.
She don't wanna tell lies. She don't wanna tell lies. She just wanna feel alive. Yeah, you bet you know that we ain't never gonna be together. I'll see. Yeah, you better go to sleep when I'm feeling like a drum without me.
Attention, the first song on the album, and it's a slow start.
Yes.
I instantly
but the song's like 2 minutes long, so.
Yeah. I said, "Oh no, I hate it." I think the ending is better. He starts to sing a bit clearer. I dislike the big bass effect over his voice that comes up a few times.
See, I like it because he uses the crunchy stuff at like the 1 minute mark when he says, I thought I'd vocalize my troubles, but nobody will listen. So it's like purposely masking the vocals to
I
like
get
get a
it.
point in lyrics.
Yeah.
But if you can't hear the lyrics,
I don't care.
it's useless, right? Like if
Yeah.
it's so crumbly that you can't hear it, like, oh, it's a fun Easter egg, but like how many people are looking up lyrics and would care?
Yeah.
Very few.
Especially because this is his first album, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
He had an EP, but this is his first album.
sure, yeah. So if it's my first album, I really want to be like
You wanna get your
clear
point
and
across.
make my point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works as an introduction to everything else that's going to come up because it sets the pace,
Yep.
it sets the vibe. I'm not a huge fan of this song either, but it's a good representation of what you're going to get in this album.
That I can agree with. It definitely is.
I just didn't appreciate that. I could not understand some of what he was doing. Like if there's an intent behind it, the intent is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can make that choice, but you don't like the choice that was made.
Certainly, yeah,
Up next, his most popular song,
yeah.
"Slow Dancing in the Dark."
Did you have a note on that it was named something by the radio?
What?
It was named the number one track in the whole world
Oh my god!
for the day
For the day, wow! What
on
an award.
September 18th, 2018 by BBC Radio 1.
Wow, that is an honor. That's
In the
crazy.
whole world.
That is very wild.
It was the hottest track.
When did this album come out? Is that like the release date?
I don't know, actually.
No, because I thought this was a single. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I really like this song. I
It's not bad.
think that the fluttering piano that fades in and out, the powerful yelling chorus, the tasteful background harmonies, I think it's easy to see why this is his most popular song. Like, it's well produced, it's fun, it's, radio single length.
Yes. And this song was released on the 12th of September, and it was named the hottest track on the 18th of
So it
September.
took some time.
6 days.
Yeah. It started rolling, and people were like, whoa, Joji's got... Because I think this might have been one of the first songs he released. Oh, no, because there was an EP before, so I don't know.
I don't know.
It went to number 69 in
Mahalo.
the U.S. and number 4 in New Zealand.
Plouffe, you're holding back. I can see you gripping the table.
I wrote, "Rip Filthy Frank, you died for this."
Damn, that's wild.
The funny thing is, I actually like some other stuff, like those other bands I mentioned. Lund was another one. He's a random SoundCloud artist that I used to listen to around the same
You don't
time.
need to prove you like bedroom pop. It's
Like
okay.
2015 to 2018. I wouldn't even call this bedroom pop. This isn't bedroom pop. This is like lo-fi indie guy.
Yeah, they call it R&B or soul on Apple Music.
I
which
would not
think is
call it
interesting.
either of those things. I don't know.
R&B would be close, I guess, but
I guess it's a stretch. It's like lo-fi bad R&B. I don't know. This is where I was really solidified into like, oh god, this is what I've gotten myself into. And I like other artists, but I like other artists when I can hear them singing the lyrics very clearly. And then again, I just find the whole thing a little pretentious.
I don't find an issue with understanding him in this song.
This one I didn't.
It's not as bad. It's just I don't
The
know.
instrumentation, like the backing on this, is really good. Like what you noted about the piano and stuff like that. But the lyrics themselves
They're very
are
vague.
poo-poo.
Yeah, they don't say really anything.
No.
It could be about him not wanting to hide a relationship. He doesn't want to be in the dark anymore. It
Yeah.
could be that he doesn't want to be in this place where he's lost and bring someone else into that. But there's not enough said here to mean anything. So it's just kind of like this picture of slow dancing in the dark, which is, I guess, enough for a pop song.
Yeah.
Because, like, you don't need to be more than that.
The
but
video is pretty good for it.
I haven't watched any of the music videos, but I hear they're pretty good, actually.
Yeah, the video is pretty interesting. If you want a different song about slow dancing, perhaps in the dark or in a burning room, the song
John
"Slow
Mayer.
Dancing in a Burning Room" is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Wouldn't that be a very bright room?
It
Probably.
probably would be
Yeah.
dark and bright at the same
Well,
time.
I like this song. If you want to know what Joji
great.
is, listen to this song. Like, this is a Joji song, and a lot of them are pretty similar with the kind of pacing, the kind of concepts and stuff like that. But if you don't like it, I mean, yeah, you'll hate every song. This is the best one, so you're gonna hate every song.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
This is the song I enjoyed the most.
There's a couple.
It's all downhill.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
there
100%.
are one or two tracks that I was like, I kind of like this one. I think it's cute or whatever.
Yeah.
What
But
did you think of Test Drive?
I said I like this track more than the first two, mostly because he's just kind of singing more clearly. But I got bored after a minute or so.
The only thing I like about this track is that the producer's name is R.L. Grime.
Okay, so R.L. Grime is actually great. I've seen it some live this last
Oh,
summer.
yeah, cool.
Very, very good producer.
But
and DJ.
what's funny is because the R.L. Grime's real last name is Steinway.
So
Like
he's
he-
R.L. Stein?
He could have done R.L. Stein too.
Yeah,
That
he
would have
could've
been funny.
Goosebumps. That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious.
I think this is a banger. It's a song about a failing relationship as a girlfriend moves from New York to California, and she just wants to go and have fun and sleep around and do drugs.
Yeah.
Damn. I love the piano that echoes and starts out the song and ends the song. And it has a fade out that I enjoy, which is crazy.
Wow, you
Oh
enjoyed the fade
no!
out.
Okay, tell
Yeah.
me why you enjoy the fade out on this one.
Because it suddenly cuts to piano with like a quick fade out. So the last line is this acceptance of the relationship ending with like, I'll see you in the next life. Cuts to just piano, and it's a quick fade.
Yeah.
So it's almost like this, like snapping out of a dream kind of thing, where it's just
Sure.
like you've let go. He lets go, and the song's over. So I do like that.
It was all a dream.
It was all a dream. It's very chill. This is a good like put on your night driving playlist.
Oh, you mean like in the movie Drive?
It's like you know Drake and driving.
Yeah.
When you just want a sad time, you're gonna go Drake and drive. This is on your Drake and drive
Oh my
playlist.
god.
I enjoy it. Jamie, what did you think?
I thought this song's okay, but the only note I have on it is like of any substance is that the producer's name is R.L. Grime. And I think that's hilarious.
That's all that it took for you. You're like, this isn't a bad song.
It's okay. It's fine. It's whatever. But the album on a whole is not for me. This track, like individual tracks being okay, is not indicative of an endorsement. If the listener is wondering,
I don't think they're worried about you giving endorsements to this album. You too. What about Wanted You?
This one is one I wrote that it's cute and I like it, and the guitar solo at the end is a nice touch.
the backing track is quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has vocals that are kind of hard to understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the stripped back first chorus that punches in with the cymbals on the last couple lines.
It's
Sure.
somewhat powerful. Yes.
Yeah, the lyrics don't do a whole lot for me, but I
No.
like the chorus is basic. Kind of sounds like a love song, but it's not.
But it's
really.
not, yeah.
And the guitar solo just before 3.5 minutes is a nice touch.
Yeah.
That I think suits the song well and stands out because it's like the only one on the album, and
Yeah.
really some of the only guitar that really stands out. Which actually comes back more in the second album. There's a lot more like guitar solos and guitar bass songs. It's got an abrupt end, and it's a little long. It's over 4 minutes,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel super long to me. But
What confuses me about this album is that Plouffe and I didn't like it. You liked it, that's fine. But reviews for it,
Love it.
No, they're all over
it's
the
not,
place.
it's not
Oh,
entirely
really?
true. It's not entirely true. So if it was a review from like a hip hop based publication, that the review was more warm. But if it was from like a normal, not a normal, like a
Whoa.
general music publication
What
like Rolling
Pitchfork?
Stone or Pitchfork or All Music or Pop Matters or one of those, the reviews were lukewarm. But the songs are extremely popular. So I just find it very
It resonated very heavily
with the
with the general
generation, yeah.
population.
and
at
it was
the
like
time.
an interesting year for music. Like when you look
2018,
at
I'm trying to
releases, there was Kids See Ghosts, that was Astro
Yeah.
World, Car Seat Headrest released Twin Fantasy, Swimming by Mac Miller. So like there was a
True.
lot of change ups in what artists were putting out. Even 21 Pilots put out Trench, which is very different from some of their other albums.
Do
so
you
there's a
think-
shift.
On some of these tracks, he's trying to do a bad Mac Miller impression.
Kind of. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's
Not
hard
a
because
bad
Mac
one,
Miller
but,
only
like-
slowed down pretty close to there. Because
Yeah.
remember, Mac Miller was like a hype frat boy. And then Swimming and Circles is when it kind of
Slow.
slowed down a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there might have been some before that. I don't want to be a Mac
He
Miller
said
expert.
he said
but
that I think he said the one of his influences for this album was one of the guys that contributed to this album. What's his name?
Trippie Redd?
Shlomo.
Shlomo.
Yeah, but I never listened to Shlomo, so I don't have the reference between that or for that.
neither.
But anyway,
But you know what? Released in 2018 as well? Little Dark Age. Great
Oh,
album.
yeah.
Just saying.
MGMT. We did an episode on it. You can listen to it. It was last season.
But yeah, this song is fine. I think it's, again, just like a put on your Drake and Drive playlist, or like, you're having people over to, I don't know, do downers. This will be fun.
Jeez. The all caps song titles. Why?
All caps album name as well.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's common. It's fairly common. Same with like the all lowercase thing.
Yeah.
It's just like an aesthetic thing. I don't know why.
Oh, no.
Like,
Aesthetic is spaced out.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the tildes on either side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just one of those things where some people like that. I think it's weird.
I think it's weird, too. It's like he's yelling at me.
No, what else I think is weird?
Can't get over you.
Yeah, I love this song.
Featuring Clams
I
Casino.
think it's so much fun.
I said it was blissfully short.
This is the one where I'm like, why do the vocals have to be so hidden back and like
Yes.
this weird filter, and then also push back in the mix where I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah. I wrote it's okay, but kind of boring, but I like the bass line.
Yes. This is another one where the backing track overshadows everything else about the song.
Yeah.
I like the kind of like almost. It's hard to tell if they're threatening lyrics or cute lyrics. It's like, come here, I've got a box cutter with your name on it. Could be a threat, or it could be like, you know, we're unpacking together, we're living together, we're doing this stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't get over you, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then it ends abruptly with like, if I can't have you, no one can.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's not
It's
as
spooky.
cute. This is one of the songs that pops into my head the most, like of all of his songs. It's just like, I can't get over you. Also, the bass is Thundercat.
beautiful.
That's why it's so good.
Oh, yeah?
That's why
All
it's so
right,
good.
well, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thundercat.
It's got a good
I
bass
really
line.
like Clams Casino, though, so it's funny that this is one of my favorites as well because I almost chose his album Instrumental Relics to cover last season, but decided against it.
Ah, cool.
Maybe someday. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fun. It's very different in the way that it's bright instead of dark. But up next is Yeah Right.
I did not like the weird vocals in the background.
No.
And then I said the song gets very boring very quickly, but it could be an okay background song in a movie.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my favorite Joji song for a while. It's just like catchy because it's like basic.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of tune out and then kind of come in
Yeah.
at the chorus or whatever.
It would be fine in a bad summer teen movie.
Totally. 100%.
But they don't make those
100%.
anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, not
Yeah, so
really.
this is for nobody. But this song is about how he's out partying and dancing with a girl who does not care about him at all.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
just a woman dancing with him who does not care
So,
who he is.
so if we're keeping track, so far the 6 songs on this album are about either how a girl doesn't want him or how he's had a bad breakup.
Close.
one or the
Pretty
other.
Close. Pretty close.
Yeah.
This is like the last song of the album that I like.
Really? You don't like that much the second half?
No.
Yeah, where's the split, Chief?
Fair.
The split is this song.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
So side A to me, if it was just side A, EP, top 4.
Wow. Really?
Probably. I actually really like it. It's consistent enough I can put it on that I'm getting.
Oh, man.
It's background enough. It's interesting and kind of enough to listen to.
If you had company over,
nostalgic.
would you put it on?
Sure, put it on quietly.
Okay.
It's bassy enough that you'll hear it doing stuff. The vocals are back enough that it's not going to distract from you talking.
Yeah.
Totally neutral enough. And then everything after this is pretty much a skip for me.
Wow.
Luckily,
really?
all the good songs are on one side.
Boom.
So I never have to play side
Take
B.
that, filthy Frank.
Yeah.
All your songs are good on one side.
Yeah. Way to go, Joji. You have a 10 out of 10 album on side A.
EP.
Boom.
Yeah, EP. Honestly, it's another EAG, EP1,
Yeah.
EP2.
EPMD.
Where EP2 is just so good. And EP1 was so bad. But
Yeah.
We're not so bad, but it's very different.
It was okay, not great.
Why am I still in LA
I don't know.
That's a great question.
featuring Shlomo?
You're
and
technically on my
Deej?
couch right now. But
This one I wrote, it's a song about LA. I do not like this song about LA. It tries to get really heavy and go somewhere, but something about it feels pretentious. I don't know. I did not like it.
it doesn't end.
Yeah, it just tries.
It just kind of disappears into the ether.
Totally. It
Yeah.
like goes and builds and then just drops and goes nowhere. It's
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
very
I hated this
ethereal.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm guessing one of the features of the guitar player.
Sure.
The guitars are a bit too crunchy and the pace is too slow. I just want to. I don't know if they want to change up some of the feeling that we've had over the past 18 minutes, which
Yeah.
is pop or kind of R&B.
Here's the interesting
But this
part.
isn't
So
it.
this is the beginning of side 2, but if you're listening to it on digital, like 95% of the other people who have listened to it, it's
just goes to this.
Yeah, it just goes to this. So
Well, if you're listening to it digital, you're listening to it shuffled.
yeah,
That's probably most likely, right?
yeah,
Unfortunately, most people don't listen to albums front to back.
that's right.
But either way, if this came up on shuffle, I would probably be more
Surprised.
discombobulated.
Yeah,
Not my favorite.
Now, a better song that mentions L.A. would be "Drinking in L.A." by Brand Van 3000.
Or No More Parties in L.A.
Yeah.
By... Never mind. Or there's the one by Jungle on that album we did. I can't
Oh
remember what
yeah,
it's
House
called.
in L.A. or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one wasn't very good either,
I like
actually.
that
Oh,
one.
I
Yeah,
thought I
was
liked
good.
that one.
I don't think I did.
House in L.A.
Yeah. Well, No Fun is up next.
Oh my god, this song is so lame. It's
Yeah,
like if
not a huge fan.
it's like if the quiet guy at school tried to make a club song or something. I don't know. I can't stand it.
Yeah, this is like a Team 10, like Logan Paul song.
Yes.
Oh no!
I'm not,
Please don't.
again, you're trying to change the pace up, but this is very goofy and long.
Yes.
And the lyrics are too repetitive and
Songs-
unrelatable because I love my friends.
The song is about how his friends abandoned him because he focused on himself too much.
Yep.
So they just left.
And he's like, oh, well. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
he's just
focused
like,
himself
smell
too
you
much.
later.
But like, did they even?
Well, no, this is probably all just character. None of
And
this
that's
stuff probably
why
actually
I
happened.
can't stand this album. It's like he's forcing to go through this sad boy stuff, and it's not authentic. And I don't know. It just, it
That's
kills
weak
me.
reasoning. I mean, all of this albums we listen to, they don't usually go through stuff. Because
get
even
it,
like Boston,
but-
they
oh,
wrote a song
man.
about being famous when they weren't famous yet. I hate Boston. I'll bring him up every episode.
What
I
do you
hate
rate
that
Boston?
song.
You rated that album quite well.
Yeah, that song sucks.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Just
we're
another
famous
band
and we're
about
traveling the
it.
world and ladies love us and they're in his own basement.
Sir, we
I
referenced
mean,
that
they
song too
eventually
much.
did.
Yeah,
People are
'cause
gonna
it
think you
stinks,
have it
dude.
out to get that guy.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as Plouffe is saying. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's making stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they don't, it stands out though.
Needs somebody.
I don't know. Do we need to say anything else about the song? It
Uh,
just,
No,
this
it
is my review
sucks.
for the album. No fun.
amen, brother. That's my review for side B. Up next, Come Through.
I hate auto tune, and then he does more indie guy voice. I don't like.
I put
Come
on this one,
Through.
yeesh, another miss.
Okay, if he didn't mumble through the first verse, the imagery would have been interesting. Because the imagery in the first verse is actually not bad.
I'm swimming like Nemo.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's
Yeah, I put it's fine enough maybe to be a Night Drive song due to the bassy backing track, but the lyrics are boring to me, and it ends just by like fizzling out. Like it just kind of goes like
Yeah.
and ends, and it's like okay,
yeah, it kind of farts
Thanks for-
itself out. Yeah.
wasting my time here. But
The
whatever.
next one's a real stinker. R.I.P. featuring Trippie Redd.
It is a stinker. It's the worst use of a feature, especially Trippie Redd, who
Yeah.
was pretty darn popular at the time.
I
Just to
never
be
heard
like,
of him.
I'm just gonna say this one thing over and over again. I'm gonna say I would die for you over and over again for like 2 minutes.
What a waste.
R.I.P. this feature. Am I right?
Yeah.
It was
Skip.
Not
it's
good.
It's a song about the sacrifices that they would make for someone, but it sucks.
And he'd only make one sacrifice. He would die for you. He wouldn't give you anything. He
yeah,
wouldn't do anything else
but
other than die for
Bruno
you.
Mars already said in the earlier half of the decade that he would catch a grenade for you.
He'd put his hand on a blade for you. He'd sit
Yeah.
in front of a train for you. But would you do
Right?
the same? Trippie Redd would die for him, but none of the other things.
Yeah, he wouldn't do anything.
Hand on
Listen,
the blade?
He doesn't
No,
say
thank
how he would die. He just said he would die.
He would hold a grenade or step in front of a train, but he'd not put his hand on a blade.
No,
Oh man.
That's it.
it's terrible.
Yeah, that song stinks.
Yeah, it sucks.
X and XX comes up.
It's okay. I actually like how short this one is.
I said it's boring.
I think it's fine.
And I put round, 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 because he says that over and over again.
The backing track, another track where the backing track is good, but the lyrics are awful.
Yeah, his producer or him. I guess he produces a lot of these songs.
Sure,
Good for him.
he's an okay producer. I don't like what he does all the time, but I mean, he knows how to produce a track.
But have you thought of this? Round, 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 round,
sucks.
round.
It sucks.
Yeah, song stinks.
Is this okay? Now, is this a song about the porn site or is this about Xanax? Because there's a debate.
I don't know anything about no doggone porn sites, so
You don't know anything about Xanax either.
nope.
All right.
Jamie
never done
just
it.
doing porn, like Xanax and watching porn.
He's like, oh yeah, this is the one. Up next is I'll See You in 40.
The longest track is last.
The
That's common
intro
again. That's common again.
stinks. The intro stinks. Of this
Yeah.
song.
The
It
intro and the
sucks.
outro. I'm like, I just like
Yeah, the middle
center.
half of the song is the only good part of it.
Yeah.
But you have to get through it.
Yeah.
Yes, here's my note. The intro stinks, but once the song gets going, it's okay, and then the end sucks again.
The end is super weird because they crossfade
Yeah.
the middle part back to the ukulele.
Yeah, it sucks.
So it's just like a long, weird mixture of the ukulele going and also the guitar. And then again, it just kind of like long fade out end. I was
This-
like,
okay, so
why is it fading out for
2018
like 30 seconds?
2018 had this huge thing where people were doing ukulele covers of just about anything.
Oh God, it was
It was
everywhere.
awful.
Yeah.
That is not because of this though. Or
No,
not-
but
not,
this is another song with
related to
ukulele, and then he in an interview he said, "I love it when people do ukulele covers of my song." He's like, "No, who's doing ukulele covers of your own songs? Like, what's wrong with you?"
Joji, even as Pink Eye, did a lot of ukulele songs. I think it just
true.
must have been the instrument he could play. So yeah, he did a lot of ukulele in his videos, in Pink Eye, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But blissfully, that is the end of this side.
Yes, and
Thank
that's the end
you.
of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blissfully.
blissfully. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the record itself. On the front, we have like a negative version of the actual album because the actual album is just Joji's scary face.
Yeah.
Blown out
just
face,
him
yeah.
doing
Blown out.
like a classic.
And now
Filthy
it
Frank
is
face.
red background in his hair and pupils, and then his skin is black. I kind of think it looks cool.
It looks cooler than the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want his face on my wall, but this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's on
that's
my
kind of
record wall.
neat. Yeah.
And it is a gatefold.
For a
Fascinating.
single LP.
If you open it up, it is just pattern.
Sure.
It's just like goo. No, I don't know. It's like paint stripping,
Yeah.
almost like old
Goovers.
paint on a wall. And the back, I like. It is just the track listings. Top line is side A, bottom line is side B.
That's cool.
That's
It's
cool.
tasteful.
It's
Does
just
it have
black
an inner sleevey thingy?
with red font?
What?
Opening it up, the sleeve is the credits for every song.
Okay.
Which is neat. Has the written by, published by, recorded by, yada 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 yada.
ASCAP.
And the record itself is a nice transparent red. It's very
Okay, I
cherry
can buy
red.
that. Sure.
Nice.
And then the labels are black with red.
well, how's the
fonts
pressing
for
sound there, Kevin?
Hold on, hold your horses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The
Hold
label
your
is
horses.
black with red font with the track list for each side, which is nice. You know, I appreciate that. The pressing was a little noisy. It wasn't awful because you can't really hear it in the higher energy songs. And I actually think it kind of adds something to the slower songs because the slower songs are all pretty darn slow. So having the crackle kind of just adds character to it. And it's not like super loud crackle, thankfully. But for a modern release, for something I paid like 40, I paid about 50 shipped for.
Yeah.
It's too loud, which is too bad.
$50 is a lot of money to pay for a transparent vinyl of an 11-track album.
Yeah.
Shipped? Not really. CAD?
Shipped, anniversary, and also
You guys
there's
did it.
not a ton
Jamie,
of this album.
how many brand new albums do you buy? Do
Okay.
you realize that most new albums are like $40?
Sir, you will flip your lid when I tell you how much I paid for this brand new Flaming Lips.
All right,
You will
okay.
flip your lid.
Also, this is in higher demand than the Flaming Lips one.
Of course, of course.
Joji is notoriously hard to get copies of the vinyl for. Many times it'll go on sale at retailers only to have all the orders canceled or
Dang.
get delayed. Like I actually ordered the regular version of this. I waited for a year and a half.
Wow.
The date just kept getting pushed back. I get an email every like 4 months being like, it's been pushed back. It's been pushed
Wow.
back. Pushed
That's
back.
nice.
I'd get
Until I
mad.
asked for my money back and I got it, obviously.
real.
But it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to get. I don't know why. It's a popular young people album.
I don't care when a there's only so many pressings released, but to like carrot stick you like that for so long, that would just straight up piss me off to the point
That was never
where
through his like official store or anything like that. But
I get it, but
if you're selling it
still,
through someone,
Yeah.
it's probably have it figured out.
that would upset me.
Well, Plouffe, you know, I'd love to hear your opinion of this album in a final verdict.
Man, I don't know. The whole thing has just got this tortured artist, sad guy vibe, and I can't really dig it, even though I love a lot of music like that. I get that maybe Joji was always sad and kind of hiding behind the Filthy Frank mask, but it just really doesn't resonate with me. And I don't like his indie guy voice on most of the tracks. The production is like okay, but it's very 2018 when lo-fi was kind of like really popping off, and I don't know. It's at least it's like a hard 5 tops. I can understand why people like it, and
That's actually higher than I thought you'd give it.
Honestly,
that's much higher than
That's
I thought.
generous.
it's only because of like popular reception. I know how much people love this stuff, and I just cannot understand it. The same people that love this,
Wait, you rating it higher because other people like it?
kind
He's
of
gonna get
yeah.
flamed.
It's I should give it like a 3. The same people who love this stuff love just other like classic sad girl or sad guy stuff, and it just I hate a lot of the mainstream versions of artists like that because it doesn't seem authentic to me anymore. It's like you've made it. Like if you're this popular, you've made it. Like I don't know. I don't like it at all. I don't like a lot of it, and I don't, it's not for me. I'd rather listen to Pink Season, which is a terrible album in its own right.
Oh, I thought you were saying Paint Season.
No, Pink Season is the album he
Rabbit
released
Season.
before this, I think. Has Pink Guy, and it's got some vulgar stuff on it. I'll show you later, Jamie. You'll probably find it pretty funny, actually.
Whoa,
you
whoa,
like
don't
Bloodhound
throw
Gang.
Jamie under the bus. So you'll
No,
think
no,
it's
no.
funny.
He'd probably find
Very
it funny.
offensive.
He'd probably find it funny.
Wow, Jamie, what's your thoughts?
I did not enjoy most of this album. I did not find it as much of a slog to get through as I thought it might be. But I listened to them in the order of, I listened to Plouffe's album, Casiopea, then I listened to this one, then I listened to my own. And I think this one was the hardest to actually make notes for because I was just trying to get through each track. The album's only like 35 minutes long, but it feels longer if you don't enjoy it. And I think we touched upon that by for other albums before. I think Plouffe said that about The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. You know, it feels 6 times as long if you have to make notes and pay attention to it. If you're just listening to it, it's whatever. In that vein, I think I wrote down. Hold on, let me see. I wrote down 3 out of 13.
Oh,
See, that's more what I expected Plouffe to give this. You liked more songs than Plouffe did, and you're giving a 3 of 13?
I liked a couple. I don't know. Yeah, popularity got to me. For me, it's more of a 3 out of 10.
Now we know Plouffe is not being honest with his reviews.
Not with this one, that's for sure.
Who's going to come after me?
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't have-
Joji?
Joji himself?
It sucks
Joji
because I
Spoon?
want to like it. I never listened to Joji, and I always liked Filthy Frank. I understood why he retired the character. I respected it. And Joji, his solo stuff came out, and I never gave it a listen. And I was like, oh, sick. I bet it's good. And then I listened to this, and I'm like, man, I want
Maybe
to.
listen to the song Run. Run is pretty good.
Maybe.
It's a kind of like more rocky. It's got some rock songs on it and stuff like that. It's kind of fun.
Go listen to Crywank or Lund or the other band I forgot about again.
Go slow
Silicon
dance
Estate.
slow dance in a burning room.
Yeah, John Mayer, sure.
Glimpse of Us is a good one of his like kind of more romantic songs, and I like that.
Shape of You.
But yeah, George has come a long way from yelling slurs in public, and he's put together half of a great album here.
Just like Plouffe.
If side A was just an EP, this would probably be the top spot or close to it for me. But suffering through the last 17 minutes is brutal. I get why some bands switch the order to put in a single or something really good to close out the album on a high note because, man, it's such a bummer to go from like all hits to all stinkers. Like literally the second side, I don't like any of them. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's like if the Bare Naked Ladies album had only If I Had $1 Million on it, and then everything else was something else.
Side A is going to do a lot of heavy lifting here. This is going to be kind of controversial. Well, it's not going to be controversial.
Controversial?
It's my choice.
This is a topic, sir. These are good
I'm going to put this in the
candidates.
6th spot. Below Prozac's Hot Show and above Deja Vu by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. I feel like we've listened to a lot of albums that are like good. Like they're good all the way through. But this song has like a lot of great songs in my mind on side A that it's like, well, I'd rather suffer through side B and have like a fun time with side A than like have an okay to good time the whole way through. Plus the album cover's cool. The record's cool.
Yeah.
It's all fine. I think this will probably end up near the middle of the pack at the end of the year. Like it'll just be fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm. No, what else is fine? Plouffe, your pick. Tell us more.
Tell me more about Japanese jazz.
Yeah, jazz fusion.
Fusion.
So Casiopea is a band, and
Sure.
He's smiling.
the album I really wanted was Mint Jams, which they're kind of famous for, and it's like constantly hard to find, or at least hard to find at a good price. So what we ended up doing was Jamie was buying a bunch of albums from Japan, and Superflight was available. They did not have Mint Jams, but they had Superflight, and it's their second studio album. It came out in 1979.
Got a big blimp on it.
It's got a big blimp on it. Reminds me of Supertramp, kind of.
Hell yeah, Breakfast in America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I listened to like 1 or 2 tracks because I had never heard this one before. I was just a big Mint Jams fan, and I instantly was like, yeah, sure. I love jazz. I love jazz fusion, and Casiopea is fantastic. So I bought it. It arrived a while ago because I haven't bought that many records recently, and I picked it because the other album we're gonna listen to later is a different record.
It came in while
really?
I was looking after your cat.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I've listened to it several times since acquiring it. I just like jazz fusion. I don't know. You can just play it kind of whenever.
Fun.
It's fun. It's like jazz, except it's usually got some cool guitars and like bass lines and stuff in it. Yeah, so I rather enjoyed it. I like that it's only about 39, 40 minutes long, so you
Perfect.
can. Yeah,
I want you
it's
to tell us about
good
this
length.
band. 'Cause when I looked it
Casiopea?
up, I was
Casiopea is a band.
I was like, why is there like 40? First of all, they have over 40 albums,
Yeah.
and then they
Yeah.
have like 16 band members.
It's because they're
all
like
over the place.
they're like jazz fusion band.
People come and
right?
go.
So yeah, people come and go, and they just kind of release stuff over time. I have never listened to anything aside from Mint Jams and Superflight. I don't know a ton about Casiopea.
The only constant members are the guitarist and the bassist.
yeah.
They
Well,
founded
bass
the
is
band.
slap, so
Yeah, they're pretty great. And I think Mint Jams came out recently after Superflight. It's not too far beyond that, so it's probably
Mid-80s.
so it's probably similar band members. I
82.
don't know a ton about them.
Oh,
I just know
early
they're
80s,
a really
excuse me.
cool Japanese jazz fusion band, and I'm really into them.
Yeah, it may be
their
surprising,
sound.
but I haven't listened to a ton of Japanese jazz fusion.
Yeah,
Wow, you don't say.
you don't say.
I do like city pop.
Yeah, City
I don't
Pop's
listen
great.
to a ton of that
Yeah.
either. But I do also really like future funk. So like I
Sure.
like a lot of the
Yeah.
tones that can
Sure.
be found in this.
Yeah.
But this will be similar to our last episode on Slipknot, where I don't really have a ton to say because I just don't have the experience or vocabulary to talk about it.
No,
Totally.
do I. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
some of the songs were neat.
That's kind of what it is to me too. Like I'm not like Adam will probably listen and hate us, but I'm not a jazz musician,
Okay,
and
so-
I
so
didn't go to school for
Adam
jazz.
took a course on not jazz music, but like on musical theory.
Sure.
So-
Adam is a friend of the podcast, and he has guest starred with Dope Smoke by Sleep, the worst album we reviewed last year.
And then he heavily criticized our episode on Miles Davis's working with the Miles Davis
And
quintet.
Radiohead.
Oh, did he? I don't.
Yeah, he
I
was
don't care
like,
about
you
that.
all
That album
reviewed it
sucks.
too low.
Yeah.
No, let's just talk about Adam for the next little bit.
Anyway,
out
Adam, good guy. Controversial takes on our podcast, though. I like this album. It gave me Gran Turismo menu music vibes.
So
Totally.
it gave me Mario Kart vibes.
Yep.
Sure.
that
Some of it's
too.
like Mario
Absolutely.
Kart Victory music.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? Those two games have in common.
They're from Japan.
They're
Yeah.
from Japan.
Around similar to Gran Turismo came out later, but I mean Mario and Sonic.
Mario Kart, yeah.
Certainly.
I mean, I
yeah.
guess I'm not a
Yeah.
70s,
So if you put on, Bell was fiddling around with my PS5 before we started this,
Fiddling. Wow. Okay.
and then he booted up GT 7. And if he had turned on my surround sound, he would have heard Casiopea, basically.
Probably, yeah.
Because all the menu music in there sounds like jazz fusion. Because it is jazz fusion.
Yeah, this made me want to play a SNES game.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is great Super Nintendo music.
What I thought was interesting was that you could not place the decade that this album came out in. And I bet you could not place the decade that any of their albums come out in.
Or any jazz album.
Yeah.
Yeah, jazz is kind of
Like, I don't know.
Universal
I feel like,
that.
again, maybe if you have the knowledge, like, we have the knowledge in rock music to be like, okay, well, this is clearly like, what album was it? Even My Morning Jacket, that one song that was like more of a rock song. It's like, this is 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
rock. Like,
Certainly.
this is very clearly 2008. Like, it's so clear.
You could place that in time, yes.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I'm excited to talk more about it. Should we give it one last listen?
Sure.
Sure. Wow.
Take Me.
Okay. Where we
Yeah.
going?
So Jamie didn't know that the songs
On
do have
blast
English
already.
names.
Yes. Okay. So on Spotify, they're
It's all in Japanese.
Yeah,
on
and
Apple
Music, it's
Music and on
Yeah.
on the Wikipedia page, they are in English.
They're also in English on the sleeve of the record itself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a Japanese pressing, so
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you, I like the piano on this one.
Piano.
It
Yep.
has moments where it kind of crashes in alongside the drums, which also have great cymbal work.
Yeah.
And the guitar that comes in around a minute 30 is a fun touch.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
It doesn't overwhelm
Yeah,
or overstay. It's nice.
I wrote I love that bit of guitar noodling around a minute 30. I think it fits perfectly.
Funky.
Yeah, and then the piano solo around 3 minutes is fantastic.
Man, the piano really steals the show from like 2
Yeah,
minutes on. I was like,
it does.
dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. I just love how alive and vibrant this whole song is. I think it's a great opener for kind of what's to come.
Sure.
And then we get Flying, which has got an amazing opening to it.
God, the guitar tone is so clean.
So
Yeah, the
good.
So
start reminded me of Mario Kart. That's what
Yeah.
it did. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is you're about to start a race.
Yeah.
Music, and it's very fun.
This is the menu music for when you're going to wash your car in Gran Turismo, or like change the
wash your
tires.
car?
Yeah, you can wash them.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love the bass on this song. It's just solid, and it feels like
The
it belongs
guitar
in a
solo
Sonic
for the
Adventure game.
outro? Oh,
Oh yeah, I wrote that too. Really
Yeah.
cool guitar solo around 3.5 minutes that
Yeah,
goes into
then
the
it just
outro.
ends,
Super
yeah.
talented. Yeah.
so good.
The keyboard gets pretty wild around 2 minutes. Very fun. The drummer's fantastic. The band is just super tight. Like that's the thing about Mint Jams is it's a live album, but you would not know that based just because of how tight the band is.
Tight.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
only problem with this is I don't feel like it hits hard because it feels long. Like I'm like, ooh,
Sure.
5 minutes. Like a lot of it is kind of repetitive in the middle, where I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
it's jazz
I'm
music.
still here, and it still feels like a NES game or a SNES game,
Yeah.
which is fine. But like, it feels like a SNES game in the way that it feels like it's repeating. I'm like, okay, I need to move on.
The funny thing is, like NES and SNES had such basic music.
No, the SNES was well known for having better sound chip.
Yeah,
than, like, all the
yeah.
competitors.
It
Yeah.
was better for the time, but like they wouldn't have had anything as full as a full track. It was just still
Well, it's MIDI, right?
just MIDI
I
keyboard.
want you to go
stuff.
back and listen to the soundtrack for Vegas Stakes at the
Hey.
2020,
I
and tell me that's not absolute fire.
I love a bunch of like SNES stuff. Donkey
I think
Kong
what it is,
Country.
it's got like that.
It has the same tone.
It's got like that outrun kind of
Yeah.
feel to it, where it's like got that era around it.
It totally sounds like
So like, yeah, it might not sound like something that could come from the SNES, but it sounds like something that you
Yeah.
would hear in the time where you would be playing the SNES.
If someone were to remake like SNES tracks with a full band and play it, it would be
Yes.
like
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is mall food court.
Yeah, sure.
What? That's like the opposite of what we said.
No. This is like when I went to the mall in like elevator music, but with more fun.
God, I want to go to your
yeah.
elevators. Bring back elevator music, by the way.
The Sears in Oshawa, Ontario. Yeah.
Shout out to the Shears and Oshawa.
Shears?
Ontario. The Shears and Oshawa.
Sean Connery's here with us.
Up next is Dune, which, like the movie, is slow and long.
Yeah, things slow kind of back down. It's very chill for the most part, and then the
Piano.
wailing guitar comes in and cries for a little while.
Yeah, killer solo.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a long outro. That's kind of my only issue with it.
The piano though. Woo.
Yeah,
I think I just wanted a more active song. So I was like, this is
Sure.
fine, but like I don't want to be passive and sleepy.
yeah, especially after flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then we get Asayake.
Or
Or
sunrise.
Sunrise. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but that's okay. I love the song. It's got a really dramatic intro, and I
Mm-hmm.
love the main guitar riff in the background, and then the solo just after 2 minutes.
You know what it reminded me of, Plouffe? Canyon.mid. The sound, the song that comes with any Windows 95 computer. Or, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's so good.
I like the bass work in this one, and
Yeah.
the guitar being more just like a rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
Lets the shredding the bass does just shine. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, he's
he is slapping the bass.
Slap of the bass.
That's crazy.
Slap of the bass.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's a good vibe.
Yeah.
It's got a unique intro into the kind of fun main line right before the minute mark.
Yeah, then we get I Love New York.
Do you?
Oh my god, this song, if it was half as long, would be a 10.
It's got robo voices.
It does, it's got vocalizer.
I love vocoders.
Yeah.
I absolutely love when they're used. They're super fun. I don't know if either of you guys have tried one before, but they're a lot of fun to just mess around with too. Yeah, it's got a really nice funky bass line in the background. I thought the same thing though. It's the only one that kind of drags on a bit for me.
Repetitive.
You should have seen. Well, I guess you couldn't hear it. You should have seen my jaw drop when the vocoder came in. I was like, "Oh
I
my
love
god,
New
it's got vocoder!" What?
It is good with the robot voices, but it is unfortunately
But even like the-
repetitive.
Oh
yeah,
It's
totally.
like all the vocoder. I'm
Yes.
like, man, this is amazing. I
Yeah.
also love New York, so I was also excited.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, do you
wow,
like
I
New
love New York too.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I love LA.
It is just
It's too
literally
long.
2 times too long. It should be half the length.
I fully agree. Maybe not quite half. Maybe 2/3. But like, yeah, it's too long. That's kind of my only problem with it. I love the rest, especially the ending, because doesn't it end with just like I love New York like 8 times in a row or something like that?
Do you in fact love New York?
That's okay. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, this would be track of the year if it was shorter.
Yeah,
I love this song.
It's great for a while. Yeah. Then we get "Sailing Alone," which is a nice, slow, sad song. It's got a really groovy bass line and some more wicked
Oh,
guitar
the
solos.
bass sounds so sad at the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
The only problem is I feel like they just looped the song. Like it's
Well, maybe.
it's pretty darn repetitive. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it feels really good, and then it just restarts and plays the same thing again to end
Yeah.
on that kind of feel good note. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is happening here?
There's a little change up around 2 minutes with the drums, but otherwise, I fully agree.
I like the muted guitar. Like
Yeah.
it has a really good sound to it. And then the electric guitar that comes in around a minute 20.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
this
don't
is
know
good.
if he's
The little nifty guitar break. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know if he's palm muting or whatever, but I'm a sucker for a good palm mute.
Likewise.
Then we get O Lion, which has got another super cool intro, very rushed, and then a super cool outro. I wrote O Lion is great, and that's pretty much it.
The organ, I wrote, now that's some kind of bass line. And then I also wrote, the organist is out there just flailing. He's
Yeah.
just flailing around.
That's what I said to you. I'm like, this. Well, I mean, I don't know if it relates to what you're saying, but I kind of agree in the way that I feel like this is kind of all over the place.
yeah.
I was like, what is, but in a negative way. I'm not a huge fan of the synth.
No?
It sounds like some of the sounds coming out of it were just too wild and felt panicked. I was like, this is not the vibe I want.
That's jazz,
Like,
baby. Jazz fusion.
It's like, you're going to jam, is like more what it's saying. And I'm like, I don't want to jam like this.
Too bad.
Yeah, that's like,
Jams.
whoa.
Start dancing.
I feel like if it had felt a little bit more purposeful,
Sure.
but like stuff is going down while other stuff is going up and it's all going fast, I was like lost. And some of it is very good, but I'm also like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's jazz, baby.
That's jazz, baby.
Did you get it? Because that was jazz.
And then we get Magic Ray.
Dope name.
It's a cool name. It's
Magic Ray. Is it a person?
Who is this? That's what I
I'm
wrote.
Magic Ray.
Who is this Magic Ray?
Unfortunately, this one's probably my least favorite song on the whole album.
Really?
It's not bad. It's just not as interesting to me as the other
I
tracks.
love the vibe.
Oh, it's got
It's
got
good,
the,
but-
like the hooked on a feeling like fake sitar. sound.
Totally. I don't get me wrong. I rated this album very high, and least favorite on the album does not mean I don't like
Yeah, okay.
Magic Ray. It's
I don't know. You
just-
lied to us last time. so.
Well, yeah.
I hate this album. 8 out of 10.
5. Should have been more of it. I should have gone.
It's
I should have
very
been harder.
driving
I
by the
was
beach as the sun
afraid.
is setting.
Ooh,
You know?
Yeah,
I like
totally.
If it had some waves in
Totally.
the background, I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh,
This
this
could
is
fit.
another one where it's like an outrun background.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is it.
Yeah, it's definitely down the road.
I gotta
by
buy
the
a
beach.
PS1 and get some racing games
man.
because, like,
Ridge Racer.
Wow.
because some of these songs, I'm like, man, I want to play some old racing games.
Yeah. Yeah. Play like.
that runs a Sega game.
Yeah, we can play Ridge Racer.
Sure. Or
La-
Rage Racer. That was the angry one.
I'm gonna
Last.
play Wave Race 64. Now that's a game.
Get Jet Moto.
Jet Moto.
Just say anything like that.
No, that's how. That's how.
That's
Wave
how a lot
Racer
of
64.
intros for games were back then, especially
Welcome
racing
to
games.
Jet Moto.
Gex
Ridge
2.
Racer. And then the last song is Mighty Mouse, which has kind of a weird
It's
start,
fun.
but it turns into something pretty cool.
Isn't Mighty Mouse like an actual?
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's
cartoon.
cartoon.
Here he comes to save the day.
Hey, Mighty Mouse. Du-du-du-du.
Yeah, it's fun and it's the shortest on the album.
Yeah.
I think all songs should have been this length to keep things fresh and moving.
Sure.
I like how almost all the instruments get a chance to shine, and the hand claps are fun.
Oh, I'm a sucker.
It's so crisp and clear.
Yeah.
It really jumps out.
Yeah, the production on this album is mint.
It's crazy.
Fantastic, Yeah.
Mint.
I
really
like
it.
I like the keyboard quite a bit, and yeah, I'm also a sucker for the clapping. I like that it's used sparingly too. They clap a little bit; they don't clap too much. Yeah, I think it's a great outro to the whole album.
Yeah, I agree. It made me want to loop right back around to the start. Like, it kind of brought
Yeah.
up my mood again. And I was like, you know what? Do it again.
Highly recommend listening to Mint Jams if you like this at all. Mint Jams is just that's a 10.
I listened to their first album after this because I was like, I wonder what their first go around sounded like. And I was like, oh, cool. It's got race cars on the front.
Yeah, self-titled with a race car. Some of their most popular songs are from the album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it.
As for the record itself, Jamie, do you remember how much I paid for this? Like $20. It wasn't expensive.
Yeah, it was $20 shipped to your door.
Yeah, that was like nothing. It was such a good deal.
Yeah, I could if you want me to pull up how many yen you paid for it, it was not very many.
How many yennies?
Yeah,
And it
definitely.
was
yennies.
2-day shipping from Japan.
I know, it was here so fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's got
That's going to bump this up a couple places, let me tell you.
probably
That's
right.
a great deal.
$20, yeah. On the front is
Nice condition.
yeah, it's in great condition, man. That's the nice thing about buying records from Japan is they're usually
People
in pretty
take
good.
care
Is
of
that
Yeah.
the Twin Towers? Sorry, you just grabbed this cover.
So it's a blimp going over New York at sunset. So yes, those are the Twin
I didn't realize it was New York.
I'm pretty sure they love New York.
They love New York.
Take a super flight over New
Wow,
York.
the Twin Towers. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure it's New York and not San Francisco.
Well, San Francisco doesn't have two towers that look the same next to each other.
You're right. And then it's just got Casiopea on the blimp, and then in the top left in kind of script is Superflight with an underline. It is a single sleeve, not a gatefold. And then on the back, we've got Superflight Casiopea, kind of a negative.
Whoa.
With a track list.
Dark Casiopea.
Yeah. Both sides are listed, which is always nice. And then on the back of that, it's got, all the credits, which is quite a few. They have a lot of guest players. That's the other thing, too, is when you were looking at the, 40 musicians or whatever, that probably included all the guests.
Yeah, it also includes touring or whatever.
Yeah, and jazz ends up featuring
40
a lot
albums,
of
though.
guests.
You can't underplay how many albums they have. It's
100%,
crazy.
yeah.
Prolific.
But yeah, it's got all the production credits, 1979, all that good stuff. It's pretty great. And then on the inside, we have got the record in one of those stupid. I don't know if they did this after the fact.
I believe the record store did that for you.
Yeah, they probably did this. I hate these sleeves.
when they shipped it, it was not in the sleeve.
Right, it was outside,
It's
which
one
I
of those,
prefer.
round ones with one flat side.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I hate putting them back into
Like a shuttlecock.
Because
Sure,
the
let's
purple
call it
thing on the
that.
counter is what it's supposed to go in.
Yeah.
I didn't do it for you.
Are you sure? I thought this is just an insert,
Oh,
Jamie.
I'm sorry. Perhaps there was another.
Yeah, maybe there was a paper sleeve or something that came with
Did
it
you want a paper
originally.
sleeve?
No, I have some.
Anyways,
I
what
just
else is
haven't
in there?
bothered. All of the lyrics. Well, there's not lyrics, but I'm guessing this is
It's the album credits.
the
That's-
album
that's
credits or
all
something.
the people.
It's all in Japanese, so I can't read it. It says Casiopea in embossed font on the top with a purple banner, which looks really nice. And then on the back side of that is a
There's the
picture
four of 'em.
of the four main members
Bee
with
Gees.
it's in black,
Wow.
white, and purple. Or just white and purple, I guess, with purple fading into black. It looks nice. It's tasteful.
It's all purple.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Colorblind.
It was all yellow.
As for the record itself, it's just a black vinyl. It's got a little blue label here with side one very clear,
nice.
kind of curved a little bit for a little bit of
What's the
fun
record
there.
label, buddy?
Alpha
Alpha.
Stereo.
Never heard of them.
33 and a third. Yeah, never heard of them either. But yeah, I mean, especially for $20 for a pretty mint copy, I am super happy, especially shipped to my door.
Yeah, they had multiple copies, and that was the one that seemed like it was in the best condition. I think they rated it an excellent or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what? Didn't lie.
Yeah.
Did not lie.
Oh yeah, you look at the actual record itself; it looks very clean. It's very nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Personally, for me, it's like a 9 out of 10.
Whoa.
I think it'd be higher, but the perfect 10 is saved for Mint Jams. It's a fantastic album that I'd put on to do just about anything, and it's a lot of fun if you like jazz fusion or city pop, like Bell mentioned before. It's kind of similar vibes to that. What'd you guys think?
Oh, I love this album. This album was very enjoyable to listen to. I had a great time listening to it while I was making notes, and then I think I put it on while I was cooking dinner the other
Nice.
night. Because it's background noise.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's nice to have a little fun.
it's nice,
In the
funky,
background.
smooth.
10
jazz
out of
fusion.
13.
Nice.
It's a good value. I've actively looked for another copy of it. It is hard to come by.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
You can't get another copy from Japan like you did with this one?
No, not in the same quality. Like they had one that was not sold with a sleeve.
Yeah. Well,
So-
you have sleeves.
No. I mean, like it didn't have the
Jacket?
Didn't have the jacket at all.
Oh, wow.
It was just the album.
Bell, what'd you think?
You know what? This is a Japanese fusion album from 1979.
That's correct.
It sure is.
It sure is. It's an
Is it
album of
good?
time.
Is it bad? I don't know. I'm not educated enough to say, but I had fun enough, I guess. I'm gonna get right to it. I'm gonna put in the 11th spot under "Ask the Dust" by Lauren and above "Green" by REM.
Sure.
This is a jazz fusion Japanese album from 1979.
Yeah. That is
What else can I say?
not a word of lie
No.
in that sentence.
Like, if you want to listen to a Japanese fusion jazz album from 1979,
This
You-
is the
you
this
one.
found
is an option.
This is the one.
I don't know enough about the genre. I enjoyed my time with it. I don't think I'd really listen to it, and I don't know when I would, because like some of it's kind of inconsistent. It made me want to listen to more in this genre of albums that are Japanese fusion jazz from 1979.
Play Mint Jams on your way home. It's a great album.
You know what album I will not play on my way home? Jamie's pick.
Okay.
What did you pick, Jamie?
I picked The Flaming Lips.
He's always trying to wrap us into his picks. It's
Yeah.
like,
Sorry.
he didn't pick that.
I picked the Flaming Lips Transmissions from the Satellite Heart. I'm going to preface this by saying I bought this album because I liked the single She Don't Use Jelly. And
I can't wait till we get to that song.
the only reason I brought I bought this album was because I heard that song on the way home, and I looked up how much the single was, and it cost more to buy the single than it did to buy this entire album.
Wow. Then of course you just buy the full album.
So I bought the full album, and I've listened to it.
Okay.
All right.
And I have, I don't know. Jeez, the Flaming Lips are a weird band. So
They are.
So this album and the next album, this is their 6th album.
Yeah, they
they're-
also have a lot of albums.
They have another
Yeah.
album right after this. Anyway, the next album is basically the cutoff for the band. They don't play anything recorded before the next album anymore.
Really?
They don't pretend that they pretend like their previous 7 albums do not exist.
I did say their music changes quite a bit.
That's right.
I actually would think it'd be a little bit later, like maybe a few albums later, but it changes so much that I'd be like, if you are a fan of Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, which everybody is because that's their most popular album,
Yes.
you would hate
This is
their early
This
stuff,
doesn't sound like anything.
which is what my experience was.
So the radical change in sound came because both guitarists left at the same time.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
So they no longer had people to play that, so they no longer play that, that kind of music anymore. And so they kind of just pretend like the previous albums don't exist. And the only song that they play from this period is "She Don't Use Jelly" because that was their only radio hit ever.
Is that true? I feel like "Do You Realize" was pretty popular.
That not to the same degree. So this song was so
We'll talk about it when we get to
Yeah.
"She Don't Use Jelly" because I do have thoughts on that song.
But that's about it. Anyway, do you want to know how much I paid for this? We're gonna talk
No.
about
Sure.
it.
We got to do it at the
No,
end.
tell me-
No. We always do it at the end. Why would we change this up now? Just because?
I wanna
Let's talk
know.
about the
I'm
intro.
curious.
You don't even know
You teased it.
thoughts about this. So I actually have heard of the Flaming Lips before.
Yes.
I've seen them live,
I've also seen them live.
and they are crazy.
You know who's seen them live? My boss, Alex.
Oh, yeah, cool.
He went.
mean,
he
sure.
saw them at Sasquatch.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
I saw them at Pemberton
Okay.
in like 2014, but it was so much fun. I would love to see them again. They're super high energy. They still tour. They still do this
Of course.
crazy bombastic.
Yeah, Wayne Coyne is a
shows
weird dude.
where
Yeah.
they like go into like those big hamster balls and roll out onto the crowd. And there's like stuff
Cool.
going everywhere.
Yeah.
My friend recently went and was like, yeah, it was insane.
The music is very avant-garde and very
Yes.
stream of consciousness.
Yeah, if it was up to me, we'd be covering the album Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots because the song "Do You Realize" is like a 10 out of 10.
Sure. Yeah.
But this definitely feels like a 1993 psychedelic alt rock album.
It's a psychedelic alt rock album. I had never listened to any of the other songs on this album.
You know what? I feel like if someone went back and listened to old Ween, they'd have this exact same experience that I
Yes.
had, which is
Absolutely.
I don't
This
like
this album is a Ween
Yeah.
Ween alike.
It is a Ween alike,
Yeah.
which is why I was very strategic in choosing the album I did because it's like the same thing where depending on the album you choose. Well, I mean, for Flaming Lips especially, you either get MGMT,
Yes.
or you get Ween.
Sure.
Like it's a very different.
They
feel.
turned into like MGMT kind of
Yes.
sound? What?
It's like way more electronic based
Yeah.
and like
Well, that's
still
crazy.
keeping the psychedelic weird stuff. I
Very
would not
weird.
be surprised if MGMT was inspired by
I
Flaming Lips.
wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, this is another band I've heard
so-
of but never really listened to.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
yeah,
easily it.
the weird thing is that the mid '90s were a great time if you were a weird band.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because think about like the presidents of the
Primus,
United States.
Ween.
Yeah, Primus, presidents of the United States of America.
Acoustic Rocks.
The Crash Test Dummies.
Oh, I forgot about them.
You know, these are all weird bands that came out in the mid '90s and they thrived because music
Acid.
videos were also weird.
Pepper.
Sure.
I meant Pepper by the Butthole Surfers, but yeah.
Okay.
It's just it's a weird music video.
Yeah.
Any other notes on Plouffe?
No, it's just I don't know. I listened to this expecting something totally different because, like I said, I've heard of this band before, but I've never listened to them. And I just read psychedelic alt rock, and I was like, oh, I like psychedelic alt rock,
It's weird, right?
and it's kind of a little too weird sometimes.
It's
and
very
I like,
stupid.
I like the Mars Volta. I like weird ass stuff, but
Some of this is just like completely nonsensical, but
Yeah.
to the
Oh,
point
it's
where
balls
I'm like,
off the wall. Yeah.
the words together don't even
No,
sound like they make sense. Whereas
they-
the Mars Volta, they put weird words together, but it flows in a way
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
like it should make sense. But this
Yeah.
is just like
Stream of consciousness.
I'm like, what is happening here?
Well, the banana phone talked to the hamster guy.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Spotify also didn't have like any lyrics for
No.
any of these songs. So if I was like, what the hell did he just say? I had to go look it up on like Genius or some other lyric site.
Yeah. There's no annotations for this album on Genius.
I also noticed.
Not
I was
a
like-
single one.
I'm like, so one of them was just like, they celebrate Dadaism. And I was like, what's that? And I looked up, and it's like,
Oh, Dadaism?
To be
Lobster
nonsensical and
phone.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like completely
Lobster-
random garbage.
Lobster phone.
Lobster
baby.
phone?
That's Dadaism.
So, yeah, and it's like, yeah, that, I guess
Banana phone?
they're purposely being
It's a Raphaelism.
obtuse, but that's not necessarily
It's very
fun to me.
opaque. Excuse
Yeah.
me. It's
So
very
it's like,
opaque. What
okay.
does it mean? Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah, it's like they don't know either. It's like, well, that's like not fun.
No.
It sounded like some Beck lyrics are like that.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I just put words together that kind of sounded good.
And that's
I
because
go,
he's a Scientologist. But.
I guess that's fine, but
Don't forget that in the early and mid 90s, there was a lot of acid going around. There was like a resurgence, and so I kind of blame this on that.
Here's the weird thing. They produced 5 albums before this that sound almost exactly like this album.
Really?
Yeah, I went back and I listened. So they've been
my
doing it for a
God.
long time at that point.
Yeah,
This
I
is
don't
the
know.
only one that even like sniffed at the chart. And
Insane
only
to me.
because of a thing that we'll talk about later in this podcast.
do you know how many albums they have? It looks like they have
I think they
like
have
20.
like 20.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
crazy.
that sounds about right. There's a couple live albums. I saw them at the SARS concert in Toronto.
That's cool.
Because they had that big thing for like celebrating how Toronto was escaping. It was recovering from the SARS outbreak.
So they had a big public concert.
Yeah. Oh, this is like a year after the fact. Yeah, it was limited to people in the hospital.
Well, hell, why don't we turn it on
I don't
and give it
think-
one last listen?
No, I don't think I want to. But okay.
you did there. Lips.
The first song is "Turn It On." If you didn't get the pun before, that music
Oh,
started.
I understand.
This is a fun song with
It's
some
fun.
crunchy guitar that I think pairs well with the crisp vocal and drums.
Yeah, the drums are very pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's and the riff is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't like the screeching at the end.
No,
And I mean, I write my notes as I listen to it, usually for the first time. And I wrote, I don't know what the lyrics mean, and I hope I'm not just dumb.
no, you're not. I have no idea. I have multiple notes about how. What does this mean?
Yeah, I think it's I wouldn't put the song by itself, but I think it's a good start to an album.
Yeah,
And to this album, I guess.
One of my notes was, I could listen to this album, maybe even this band, and how kind of wrong I was. 'Cause I actually, I like the first song. It's got
It
some.
feels like a little punky.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, I like
very
the,
alt rocky.
I like the start with the left and right separation at the very
Yeah.
They
start.
do that a lot.
Yes, they do
Yeah.
that,
And
quite
that's
a
why
bit,
I'm
yeah.
not surprised they move into more electronic music, because clearly they're experimenting
Yeah.
with this different stuff.
Of course, yeah,
But ultimately, it's just like once per song, something pans back and forth.
yeah.
Yeah. This one just gets a bit too repetitive. by
I'd like
the
to make
end.
this clear to
4.5
the
minutes.
audience that I didn't pick this album because
Don't
I
backtrack.
love this album.
Backtrack.
I picked this because it was the last one I bought.
Well, there you go. You
Well, up
heard it
next
here
is
first.
Pilot Can at the Queer of God, which
Sure.
also a weird start.
Yeah, very fuzzy.
My notes say, "What the hell does that mean?"
Yeah, it's a weird song. I like the quick transition from the last song, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
Yes.
flicks a switch, it's going. I like the screechy guitar on this one for the most part.
Yeah, me too.
yes,
I think it's because there's a non-screechy guitar picking throughout the song, so it kind of gives you something else to listen to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Versus just like coming in blasting at you.
The guitars are way spaced out of the mix, and then one of them is just noise, like you're saying. And I sort of appreciated that. I don't know. I didn't hate it.
I really, really liked at the end where they do a fade out, but then they leave the vocals
Yeah.
like full
Yeah,
volume.
it doesn't
And it starts
fade out.
panning back and forth.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I don't know what the significance of her having helicopters is, though. To be honest,
Sir,
who knows?
I'm giving
What
up
is-
on mentioning lyrics ever again. None of it makes sense.
the next song.
Oh
Oh, my pregnant head. Labia in the sunset.
What a colorful
Sunlight.
title.
The first thing I wrote was these guys like some weird lyrics.
This song sounds like a hangover feels.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if I mean that in a good way, but I'm going to take it as not a good way.
I wrote, I think I'd like this a lot more if I was really, really stoned and just laying on the ground.
What is the beat? The beat is weird.
I don't know.
Everything's weird, but the beat is weird.
I have no other notes. This thing is just kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. I
Well-
don't like it.
Then we get She Don't Use Jelly.
Okay, why was this popular?
It was featured in an episode of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, of course.
The song went to number 1 after that.
Yeah, because I've
That's
totally.
crazy.
It
I've
is their
totally heard
only
it before.
chart hitting.
She'll make you
single.
toast. She doesn't use butter. She doesn't use cheese. She don't use jelly or any of these. She uses Vaseline.
Yeah, dude.
I know a guy who goes to shows. When he gets home, he blows his nose.
He uses
doesn't-
magazines. Like what? It doesn't make. What? Who cares?
You're talking
this
about
is the
jerking off.
closest thing to a real song on this album.
They're talking about masturbating.
It's not.
What?
What?
How is
No.
making toast a analogy for?
No, this is just
Blows his
masturbating.
nose with a magazine.
No.
Blows his load on a magazine. Like they're.
no. It's not about that. No,
I
it's
don't
just
know,
it's a
man.
series of impossible situations. Like
I don't know.
It's
I
a- just got
it's a
stuff
girl
in the
who
brain.
I think it's about
likes orange
masturbating.
hair, so she uses tangerines. It's nonsense.
Yeah. What does that have to do with masturbating?
well, that one
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll give
so
you
that's
that
why it's
much.
like we put it all
The-
together. It's like what?
I like
The-
the drums on it.
The bass line is very pronounced. It's very good on this track. Most of the instrumentation is excellent.
One thing
I
I
can
hate.
understand why it was catchy. It's stupid. It's
Yeah.
a nonsense song.
One thing I hate is the finished record outro.
Oh, me too. I have that in my
I
note
hate-
too.
yeah,
I hate it.
I
And
don't
it
like
lasts
those.
long enough that I'm like, stop.
Right.
And is it the end of this side?
I don't.
No, it's not.
think
It's
so,
not the end of
no.
this side. So it's
Yeah.
like, what? But I don't like the song. I think the lyrics should have just been simple. It should have just been a simple like garage rock song, and it would have been better. I think the nonsense is just like frustrating to me. And I was
They
like,
were
why is this
not.
popular?
I don't think they were trying to write a popular song. I think that the
I
fact
think
that it got
4 albums in, they'd be like, we should probably make music people want to listen to.
yeah, which is weird because they were signed to a major label too. Because this is a Warner Records
Yeah.
album too, which is very strange to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Beavis and Butthead latched onto it being weird, and that's why it's good.
Well, I don't know what makes it good, but
Well, it was certainly it's a hit that people say, hey, remember this song from 1994? Because it became a hit a year after the album
I was
came
about
out.
to say, I'm like, didn't this album come out in '93?
The episode of Beavis and Butthead came out a year after the album came out, and then this song charted well into 1995, which is very weird.
Well, hey, I'm chewing at the apple of your eye.
Wow, that's the next track.
I like the imagery.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a pretty big change from the previous few songs.
It's crackly.
Yeah, why is there a tape recorder effect
Yeah.
for the entire song?
I don't like the grain on the track. It sounds underproduced, and I don't like it.
I do like whistling in songs, though. So this song
Sure.
is partially redeemed.
Yeah, I
And
like
then
whistling.
it gets less crackly with the whistling.
Yeah,
You know,
I wish the horns from the outro came in earlier than literally immediately before the fade out. It's like the last 5 seconds. It's like horns and gone. I'm like, what? The horns actually sound nice.
I kind of like the next track, Superhumans. It's okay.
I thought it was a filler track, repetitive and short for this album. Probably could have cut it.
I said, woof. Not a fan of the off-key singing. I get they were indie and it's a vibe, but it's a bit much.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can add to songs, but I feel like it only hits me in songs about school or love songs where you can chalk it up to like being inexperienced or young, even like telling a story.
Sure.
But this is like excessive because the instrumental work is so strong.
Yes.
That I'm like, why are you like, I'm like,
okay.
you have to ruin it somehow.
Yeah.
You have to ruin it somehow. There's even a nice little guitar feature at 2:30. Maybe I'm just old though.
I don't know. Here's the only thing I knew about the Flaming Lips prior to buying this album. If you looked on Google Earth of where Wayne Coyne's house, so Wayne Coyne is the lead singer of the Flaming Lips, or he's the band leader. If you looked at his house on Google Earth, he was sitting in a bathtub surrounded by a marching band and balloons were in his yard. And that was the
Cool.
only thing I knew about him.
It's a good Google Earth.
All right.
I got my
picture.
house blurred on Google Earth.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. And I was like, oh, so they're just a weird band. But anyway, Be My Head.
This is similar to Superhumans, but I like it more.
Yeah, I like this one more as well.
The
Yeah.
pacing is good.
I like the weird vocal effects and
Yeah.
the panning that happens periodically.
The
Yeah.
It
guitars.
seems like they're just having fun experimenting, but they still made something somewhat listenable. So they've clearly messed up. It's the first song in a while that I'd probably choose to listen to.
Sure.
Yeah, I like the deep "won't you" on the vocals near the end. And the cute lyrics were kind of weird. My only issue...
Everything about this album is weird.
I know. It was a little too fuzzy for me at times. That was kind of my only issue
Okay.
with it.
Moth in the Incubator.
It's another quieter acoustic song that slowly ramps up into something akin to psychedelic grunge almost.
Yeah.
It's a big change up at the end that leads better into the next song. Like, that's the one thing that's really signature for psychedelic rock bands is a lot of their songs bleed into the next just a little bit. Not
Yeah.
always, but at least a little bit.
I think this is the only song I could safely say on the album. I think it's about sex. It might be about sex.
I'd have to read the lyrics again.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I would probably say so.
Okay.
I like the first part of the song. The lyrics are weird, and they sound like maybe they could make sense. I don't dislike the second half, but it changes up so much. And I'm like, why is this not just a second song? Like, it's quite different partway through, and I'm like, just 2-minute songs probably would have been the way to do it. Like, I don't know if it really added anything by
Yeah.
being together.
Well, then we get asterisk multiple times. Plastic Jesus in parentheses.
Scary song.
Yeah.
On the yes.
Why
it
do
is
so many
spooky.
albums have scary songs?
I think it's about a bobblehead Jesus on a dashboard.
Oh, maybe.
Well, it says that.
Oh.
As long as I got my plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car.
Oh, okay.
I wrote that it's a slow acoustic song that's almost an interlude before the final two tracks.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the album, which makes it
No.
extra unsettling. It's just like
Yeah.
hollow vocals with the guitars and strings that kind of come in just really faintly that they echo. It feels like you're listening to a fair like 6 blocks away and your uncle's on the patio playing guitar. So like it's just like these weird dissonance on what's happening. I was like waiting for a jump scare. I was like, oh, it's like the end of that Ween album we covered. I'm totally gapping on the name.
Yeah.
But like it had that weird kind of clown one where you're
Mollusk.
like waiting. The mollusk.
Yeah.
The clown song, and you're like waiting for the jump scare. I was like the same thing. I'm like, what's happening here?
When you're 22.
I wonder if Blink used the song's title as inspiration for Nobody Likes You When You're 23. Probably not.
Probably.
You
But
think
I
Taylor
wondered-
Swift covered 22
I wondered that
for this song?
when I listened
Wow.
to it.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. This song is okay.
It's very loud noise rock.
I like the
am-
pulsing guitar,
Yes.
Yeah.
funnily enough.
I'm
But I have
not
no
crazy
thoughts I've
about
not
it.
shared already.
It's
It's
fine.
more of the same from the Flaming Lips. And then slow nerve action.
It's got a cool guitar at the start.
Got a great riff. Yeah.
It's got a cool name.
Yeah.
The dog's name's Paul.
I like animals with human names.
Yeah, me too.
The intro drums are great.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the first guitar note that comes in blasting. It just is like, bang.
Oh, I
I'm
like
whoa.
that. Yeah,
I
I
thought
kind
that
of
was
like
kinda
that
interesting,
actually.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like it.
The drums are pretty good on this.
It's
Yeah.
probably my favorite song on the album.
Interesting.
I like the singing on it. It gets a little weird and spooky about halfway through.
Yeah, I like the instrumental break around 3 minutes with
Yeah.
like swirling, vocalizing, and simple guitar and the drum beat. It's a nice break. And then the tasteful, crunchy guitar comes in.
Yeah.
And it's just chef's kiss.
It's long at just under 6 minutes.
They should have done a whole album of this vibe. But they
Probably.
didn't. And it doesn't have a fade out. They just crash the drums and end the album.
Fantastic.
Great job.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. That's how these albums should end.
Yeah. Okay, Jamie, how much did you pay for this thing?
$17.
Oh, I mean, that's
What?
pretty regular. I
You
thought
think
you made
What?
it out to be a big
you
deal.
talk about how like $30 for an album is so expensive, and you're like, I got a great deal. I paid $17
Yeah,
for
well,
this
that's a lot
30-year-old
less
album.
Yeah. Okay. So I bought.
I thought it was gonna be like $6.
No. This is.
He
I
got
bought the-
20 for Casiopea shipped from Japan in 2 days. That's a great deal.
No. But this is a brand new pressing. I didn't go out to the record store and buy this. I bought this on Amazon. So,
That's actually crazy.
That's
That-
kind
that's a
of
little
all
more
right. That's
impressive.
pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Amazon
yeah,
never
like,
sells records for
yeah.
$17
Well,
anymore.
I got this. It was 1 day shipping. but it took 2.
Spoiler, we all...
It even took longer. That cost $3,
Yeah.
man. You should have got the second copy of Casiopea.
Spoiler, we each ordered a copy of pre-ordered Fush Yumeng by Smash Mouth.
I don't even like that album.
And it's $40 each.
Yeah.
So like that's what a new album just kind of costs these days. So for that to be $17, I'm impressed.
I do find it funny to be like, you're not gonna believe.
Yeah,
How much
you
I
guys
paid
are
for
always
it.
like,
I
it's-
don't believe it
it's-
because I would not have paid $17.
It's perfectly normal to pay $40. No, it's not. Look for a deal.
Dude, it is these days. There's not that many deals. Like this is an album no one wants. That's why it's $17.
You know what's funny though? Is that
It's
I
old
bought-
stock from '93 still.
This is the 2011 remaster. Anyway, I bought at the same time. I bought a copy of Nirvana's In Utero, which is
Sure.
a much more
Classic.
popular album,
Yeah.
also from 1993. It's kind of weird like that. And I paid like $21 for that. It was just
That's a better
it
deal.
was a prime.
That's a better deal.
Yeah,
Day deal.
it's a much better deal.
I have not unwrapped that album. It's still in plastic over there. But anyway, the record itself, it's kind of weird, like you would expect. It's a very distorted picture of a girl listening to a boombox. She's got the headphones in front of her face.
Like the band itself.
Yeah,
so
the band.
cups
yeah.
are in her ears. Band's
There's a
over her eyes.
guitar with I want to
It's like
say it has
24
20
strings, yeah.
strings.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
Can I
strings
see the
on a
front?
guitar.
Oh, interesting. Because the Apple Music, they do like animated ones or whatever.
Oh, cool.
So they have like the original photo that morphs into that. So I was like, oh, cool.
On the back is a member of the Flaming Lips playing a piano, and another guy playing a 12-string guitar with a Bigfoot logo on it, which is kind of neat. And then it has like hand-drawn, like the names of they're kind of like hand-drawn.
Yeah, the
on.
front as well. It's got this like Sharpie font.
Yeah,
So it's like blacked out with Sharpie with red font over it
it
and
looks
stuff.
like someone drew it with pen. you
Yeah,
know?
and it's the same thing on the back.
Yeah, and then it just has the production stuff on there. It said it was recorded between January and February of 1993 in Oklahoma City, which is where they're based.
One thing to note on the Apple Music listing for this album, it says it's an alternative rock band, but alternative rock is in quotes.
Yeah.
Alternative rock.
You get a
Yeah.
poster. I'm not going to open it up.
Oh, what? Show me the
Wow.
poster.
Open it up. We made him open that Aesop rock
yeah.
one.
Yeah, that was huge.
And that
Did I
was
have to
giant.
fold it up again?
He never did. He just threw it out.
I folded it up. I have to take good care
She's
of
got her
myself.
headband over her face again.
Oh, turns out it's not. It's not a poster. It's a sleeve.
See, this is
Wow.
why we open the posters.
Yeah,
They're
Jamie,
not.
You
And then
almost
it-
called a sleeve a
Wait,
poster.
what's on the sleeve?
It's another member of the Flaming Lips with the headphone band across his eyes, and another one is listening to it, and they're sitting in front of a slide guitar, a double slide guitar.
Double slide guitar.
Take a look at that.
Hot diggity damn, that is double slide guitar.
Double slide guitar.
That's crazy.
And on the back is all the lyrics. And then the LP itself, it sounds great, by the way. If you can imagine.
You listen to the whole thing?
I listened to the whole thing. And it sounds really weird on my stereo, and I'm sure my neighbor really appreciated it. It is a Warner Records. It's got a cool skull on it.
Oh, sick.
It's about all the nice things I can say about it. This is the 2011 remaster of the album. Despite the fact that they don't acknowledge that these albums exist, they keep remastering them.
2011 or 2001?
What's that?
2011 or 2001?
11.
Oh, okay, yeah, you said 2001 earlier.
Oh, apologies. Yeah, this is the 2011 remaster. There's a 2020 remaster. They just keep
Why?
remastering them. I don't know.
Well, I'll go first as Jamie puts all this away. I don't think I'm the target audience for this.
Neither am I.
I can like low production albums, but I think lately I've been really into well produced works. So this was very different from that. It was fun listening to early Flaming Lips, but I prefer their later stuff that sounds more in line with early MGMT. Something experimental, but that still feels fully thought out and purposeful versus obtuse and confusing for the sake of being obtuse and confusing. I'm putting this in the 14th spot above My Aim Is True by Elvis Costello and below Marcy Playground self-titled. I prefer Ween's nonsensical psychedelic stuff, but I now have a better appreciation for how far the Flaming Lips have come.
Yeah.
So, gotta find the positive.
I thought it was okay. I probably wouldn't buy it. I'd be fine if like someone put it on and I was just listening to it in the background. But it feels just kind of like a bit too much at times, or like they're trying too hard to be weird. And I don't know, feels just
I don't know if they're trying too hard. I think they are just weird.
Maybe they're just weird then. I don't know.
Maybe they're born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, I don't know. I give it like a 6 out of 10.
Wow.
That's generous.
That's much higher than I thought.
Really? I like
Yeah, this and Joji. I'm both surprised at how high they
It's
are.
turning into that stupid video game thing where, a 50 is a bad game, but so that most games are
I don't think I
60 to
literally
80.
heard you say more than 3 good things about this album.
I know.
And it was like the drums were good.
I didn't mind. Oh, I just
Baseline
didn't
was
say
fun.
as much. I didn't hate it. Like with Joji, I actively disliked listening to it. With this, I was like, yeah, sure. Like it was background noise and it was okay. Whereas with Joji, if someone turned it on, I would like stop and ask them to turn it off.
Damn. And you gave that 1 point less than this.
1.5. I initially rated it 6.5 and then I lowered it because I re-rated Joji to 3.
Well, you can't. You said 5 already. I'm editing this conversation.
I've re-rated it.
Boom.
Bell, you're not doing nothing.
You ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, like it's okay. I wouldn't stop someone from playing this. I'd be like, yeah, sure, that's this album, I guess. Whereas, like, if Joji came on, I'd be like, God, can you please pick anything else?
You had to review this in a bubble. This isn't about Joji.
Well,
How did Joji hurt
it's
you?
not. But I would still like. That's what I'm saying is I would listen to this if someone put it on. I listened to it in my car and was like, yeah, sure, it's kind of weird, but it's got some good tracks. Whereas Joji was a slog, and this was not.
Jim,
it's
what do you
okay.
think?
I was curious. I was Flaming Lips curious when I bought this album, and then I listened to it, and I'm less curious now. I will keep this record because of the strength of my enjoyment of She Don't Use Jelly. I agree with you that Yoshimi battles the Pink Robots and their subsequent work is actually more interesting to listen to. But I think it's an interesting timepiece, and I think I gave it it's like a 7 out of 13 to me. It's not like Plouffe said, it's not unlistenable. It's just I didn't enjoy like the act of having to decipher what I was listening to. As often as we did. But it wasn't a slog, and it wasn't unenjoyable. It was an experience, and I have experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can experience next week's episode where we'll be covering... Well, I guess you can't experience it now. You can experience it in a week. Next week's episode can be experienced next week.
Wow, no kidding.
Where we're going to be covering a very interesting album. I suggest people tune in. We'll be covering Father John Misty's I Love You, Honey Bear, an album that I had not listened to before I chose it.
Wow.
Oh,
really?
interesting.
So tune in to
Spicy.
find out why I chose it next week or now. I mean, I don't know when you're listening to this.
Yeah, you can.
Or
listen
maybe
to-
something awful happened and that episode never came out.
Maybe.
Find out next week on Vinyl Verdict. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.